here in Jacksonville, Florida at TIAA Bank Field for tonight's matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and your New Orleans Saints. I'm Zach Strief here for the first time alongside longtime Saints legend Deuce McAllister. 86 degrees here tonight, balmy, as Deuce and I learned walking to dinner last night. There's no shortage of humidity in Jacksonville when the sun goes down, and tonight's no exception. We're here on the bank of the St. John River. Deuce, for years now, we've all been spoiled as players, as fans, having a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback under center, and that gravy train ends at some point. And I think the biggest question circling this team for the past few years is what comes after? What does life after Drew look like? And Drew did go through warm-ups tonight. He will not play this evening. And obviously a lot has been said this offseason about Taysom Hill. Has had a lot of hype and obviously a lot of potential, but tonight's going to actually be the first time that we've ever actually seen him live as a quarterback in this offense.
Well, first of all, Zach, I want to welcome you to the booth.
Well, thanks, dude.
After a successful 12-year career as a player, you move up here with myself, and as you said last night, it's no more catching the bus. We taxi or we walk to where we have to go, okay?
That's right.
So you understand that.
Yes.
But just looking at this matchup, particularly with the Saints team as they try to find the eventual successor for Drew Brees, whether that's Tom Savage, whether that's Taysom Hill, whether it's JT Barrett, or whether it's another individual that's not even on the roster. It's been interesting to see these young men just go out and compete, and really for the first time you see Taysom Hill play quarterback consistently, because as you know, last year, him being there, he was really mainly a special teams guy, and even being on the team, he didn't take the number 2 reps as far as the practice squad. So for him, I think it's going to be repetition, and just having the OTAs as well as the mini camp and training camp that he's been through. I still don't know if he's had enough repetition to successfully say he is the number 2 guy. I think if you're being honest and you're being fair, I think Tom Savage would be the clear number 2 guy in this current situation.
Like you said, they brought in Tom Savage from Houston last year. Started 7 games last season in relief of Deshaun Watson. And I think, like you said, by all accounts, he's really been the more consistent of the two throughout this camp.
Well, he's a veteran guy. He's been around the league. He's been in the NFL. He understands the offense. He was signed earlier this offseason. He was able to go through OTAs, minicamp with this team. And, he's not going to be perfect. He's not going to be the Drew Brees that we know, but I think that he can go out there and get you in and out of the huddle. He can understand where the football needs to go, and he can get it to the playmakers. I mean, they would have to change it for any of the quarterbacks that are not Drew Brees as far as his offense is concerned. But, you just want those guys to be comfortable and go out and be able to execute.
And there is one more option in the quarterback room right now in JT Barrett. A guy had a tremendous college career, broke a bunch of Drew Brees' records in the Big Ten, 39 in total, over 12,000 yards in total offense. But this offense is a huge leap for him. That's coming from the Ohio State, that kind of the RPO offense, and really, it's a big jump for him. But he's got to be a gamer. The guy performed in college, and do you think we're going to get to see him tonight?
Not sure if we get to see him tonight. I wouldn't be surprised since Drew is not going to go. I think you'll see about a quarter of Tom Savage, and then maybe a quarter and a half. JT would probably get a drive or 2. He may get the whole fourth quarter. I'm not sure. Just kind of really depends on how this game plays out. If he's successful, then great. He still has a long way to go as far as him being able to understand. You can see some throws that he makes. It's the anticipation. In college, the window is huge. In the NFL, it's not very big. And so you have to be able to anticipate and trust that your receiver is going to be in the spot, and you have to let the ball go.
When we take a look at Taysom Hill in a game like this, again, the first chance for him to sit in this offense and control the huddle, what do we want to get in a perfect world? What do we see out of Taysom tonight?
I know Taysom is an athlete, but I want him to be a quarterback. And so for him to be a quarterback, he has to be a passer. I know he can break down the pocket and run. I want to see him sit in the pocket and be able to deliver the ball to the right receivers. You're going to have a 1, 2, 3 option and then run. He can't just say, hey, look, my first option is not open. I'm going to take off and run. You're not going to have long-term success or short-term success maybe for that play. But as far as the game, once it goes on, the defenders are going to figure out this guy's going for one guy, and then he's trying to run, and so they're going to take that away from you eventually.
Another area where there's a position battle brewing is for these running back spots behind Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. And really, you know, with Mark Ingram missing the first 4 games, the third running back on this team is going to see a lot of action early. So who do you see that stood out so far in camp? I mean, I know there's a bunch of options, Terrence West, Shane Vereen, and veterans, brought in Boston Scott in the draft, but who stood out to you?
I really need to see them be able to perform a game. I mean, they haven't fully tackled to the ground as far as during camp. It's only been thuds. One day it may be Terrence West, another it may be Jonathan Williams, and then all of a sudden Boston Scott has a good practice. So, I mean, I really need to see how they carry themselves, particularly their pads, and get tackled. You know, at times you worry with a running back as far as once he does get tackled, is he going to hold on to the football? When you look at Terrence West, when you look at Jonathan Williams, those have been things that, you know, they have had some trouble with. They can't turn the ball over in this opportunity. And, you know, I think this offense is way too talented to do so, but I think all 4 of those guys, as far as running backs, will get an opportunity, and, you know, that may be another position. I don't know if the answer is in the building for them.
Yeah, and Sean talks about that all the time. He actually called in the other night to our show to yell at you for forgetting that reality, that you know, that guy might be outside of the building. So what about, do you think we see Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara tonight? I
think you may see Mark Ingram just because he is suspended for those first 4 games. If it is, it's going to only be a drive or 2. I don't think you see if Alvin Kamara plays, he is going to be one of the biggest decoys out there that you can imagine. So for him, when they shut him down after the Cleveland game, you knew that they had something special. With him having to carry the complete load this year, I don't see them risking an injury just because of a preseason game with Alvin Kamara, the reigning rookie of the year.
Another guy on the offensive side of the ball that I think has by all accounts been very healthy this camp, has looked tremendous, is Teron Armstead. And, you know, I haven't had a chance to talk to Teron about tonight, but do you expect to see Teron get some action tonight?
I don't expect Teron to get any action tonight. You know, I think for them, they want to get to September with him healthy, be able to slowly work Andrus Peat back in. I don't think Pete will go tonight, you know, and so how long Ryan Ramczyk goes, probably a drive or 2. Larry Wolford, maybe a drive or 2 if he's healthy. Max Unger, I do expect will play to be able to, you know, just to solidify at least the inside of that offensive line. But when they're healthy, they're a dangerous group. I mean, so if you're talking about Will Clapp, if you're talking about Joshua Rivas, if you're talking about 78, Landon Turner, those guys will have an opportunity. And it's a huge opportunity for them to be able to say, I can be that 6th or 7th guy. I think Bushrod, with his versatility, is going to be your 6th guy. But those other guys can say, I can be that 7th guy that can dress for you.
We're going to take a break here from Jacksonville. More when we return. You're listening to the Saints Radio Network.